ladies and gentlemen. What you see on the screen are just colored rocks dug up from the earth. Let me tell you some facts about these rocks. First, they are abundantly available in some parts of the world. Second, they decay much faster than most rocks. Yeah? And third, they melt at 900 degrees Celsius. Now, that is not a very high temperature, considering that you can get that from a propane torch. And lastly, they are brittle, meaning if you hit them with the right force at the right angle, they will chip. But interestingly, a lot of people are willing to pay a lot of money for just a small piece of this rock. Why is that? Because when you chip at it the right way, it becomes something completely different. It becomes a diamond. Now, you know that diamonds can be very, very expensive. But it was not always so. For you to understand this, I need to bring you back about 1 century ago, the year 1938. It was the time of the Great Depression, and the sale of diamond was at an all-time low. Diamond companies at that time was going bust one by one, except for one company. You may know the name. This company is called De Beers. Right? De Beers did something that none of the other diamond companies ever thought of doing. They created a story around this rock. You may be aware of this. The story says that a diamond is forever. They say that because diamond is so rare and so precious, it is the true symbol of eternal love. And then they go on to say that if a man truly loves a woman, he must give her a diamond ring. Then popular culture says that if your partner proposes to you, the first thing you must do is take a look at the ring. If there is no diamond, don't say yes, say maybe. Okay? Now, then, De Beers went to craft the story even further. They said, how can I make these people buy more of my rings and my diamonds? So they went on to say that if a man truly loves a woman, if the love is true and eternal, he must be willing to spend at least 2 months of his salary on that ring. So the next time someone proposes to you, try to find out the price. If it's anything less than 2 months, popular culture says that he may not be the one for you because it's a bit cheapskate. Right? Okay. So, what happened is that De Beers, this one story, brought in so much revenue to this company that today they earn $6 billion annually, and they virtually monopolizes the diamond industry. Right? They have become a brand. In case you're not sure what a brand is a message crafted by a company that will have great influence and presence in the mind of its target customers. Right? Now, by that logic, if you and I can build up influence and presence, then we too can become a brand, right? Okay? So, now think about this. If De Beers could use a story to bring in so much revenue and build up a company and become a monopoly, imagine what that can do to you and I as individuals. It's quite powerful, right? Do you realize that all these people who bought into the story never thought of the fact that, like what you knew, diamonds are not precious and they're definitely not forever. Right? So imagine that. Imagine trying to tap into the power. Now, for those of you who has been trying to, work out some personal branding strategy, but you're not getting some traction, chances are you have not tapped into the power of storytelling. Right? So to remind you, brand is all about influence and presence. Now, why is storytelling so important? It's because it can put a spell on us. Now, I want you to, the next time you think about a very inspiring story, so I'm saying think, don't go and watch or listen. You just need to think about an inspiring story. Take a moment, step back from the story and check. You will realize that something interesting happens in your mind. That not only are you thinking about the story, but you feel like you are part of the story. Why is that? This is also the same reason why when you go and watch a really good movie, you're on the edge of your seat. You feel like the characters feel. You are actually living through the experience without actually living through it. It's because when you listen to a very inspiring story, or when you're thinking about a very interesting or inspiring story, your body produces hormone. It's actually a physiological process. And they produce these three hormones: dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin. So it is going through your body, waves of it, right? And as it goes through, these three hormones are scientifically proven to generate or enhance the feeling of generosity, trust, and empathy. These are the exact feelings you want people to associate you with, because when they do, your influence and your presence go up. Right? Now, like what Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. All right? Now, the thing is, storytelling is actually a really, really easy tool for us to tap into. You don't have to go for any courses, not just yet, because we are all biologically wired to tell stories. I'll give you 3 evidences why I say that. First one, right? Look at the picture. These are cave drawings drawn by our caveman forefathers. They didn't even have vocabularies like we do today to tell a story, and they're already telling stories back then. That's the first evidence. The second evidence is all religion. All religion teaches their values using stories. True? Yeah. And third is kids. Young kids, they love to tell stories. Yeah? Now, you and I used to be kids, right? We used to love telling stories, right? What happened? I'll tell you what happened. Something really terrible happened to us. You want to know what happened? We got an education. Right? So, when we were schooling, we were told that logic and facts are the most important thing. And we believed it because that's what our teachers tell us. And then we started to associate our self-worth with logic and facts. Why? Because that's what gives our grades, and our grades affected our self-worth a lot. So by the time we go out into the world of work, we believe that logic and facts are the one that will make people like us. True? Remember your colleague giving that presentation in the meeting room? And then a lot of us died by bullet points? This is the reason. Right? So, how can we get back the power of storytelling that's already in us? Yeah? So, let me tell you a story about that. Now, imagine this. Imagine a girl born into abject poverty. Her mother was a teenage girl herself. So because the mother couldn't take care of her, she was given to the grandmother. The grandmother was so poor, couldn't take care of her, so she had to wear dresses made out of potato sacks. Yes, potato sack, like we call it gunny sack. All right? Okay? Now, from a very young age, she was constantly beaten with the cane for doing anything small thing that goes wrong, she will be beaten by the cane. And then by the time she was 9 years old, from 9 years old, she was molested by her uncle until she reached the year 13 years old. She couldn't take it anymore and she ran away from home. And you know what happened at 14 years old? This girl became pregnant. She gave birth prematurely to a baby who soon died after. Sounds like a vicious cycle, right? What do you think happened to this girl? We actually all know her. She is the Oprah Winfrey that we know. Now, it is said that Oprah Winfrey is one of the most influential person in the world. In fact, she is more influential than head of states. People say that the only person who's more influential than her is the Pope. All right? So, that's quite powerful. Now, let me tell you another story. Now, this time, I want you to imagine that you're a teenage person, girl or boy, yeah? And you're going to school. As you're going to school, a man came up to you, took out a gun, and pointed at your head. And then he goes, bang. The bullet goes through your skull, and by some miracle, you survived. Because the bullet missed your brain by a hair breadth. Right? What would you do if that person was you? I don't know about you, but if it was me, once I go home, I will never leave my house again. It's too traumatic. But that's what exactly happened to this girl in Afghanistan. Do you know her, Malala? Right? Now, because of what happened to her, because of that story, it gained her so much power, it gave so much power to her. She went around the world talking about the importance of education to girls, not just in Afghanistan, but all over the world. And that gave her so much presence that she became the youngest person to win the Nobel Peace Prize. So, what's the moral of the story here? Moral of the story is this. We all have struggles in us. Sure, it need not be as tragic as Oprah or Malala, and I hope it is not. Okay? But every one of us carries a struggle in us. It doesn't matter how big or small it is, but I know for sure that it is personal and it is real. Right? Now, if you think about it, in that struggle, there is a theme. And in that theme is the one that is driving your purpose and actions in life today. I had a struggle in my youth. My struggle was being noticed. It wasn't that I was desperately trying to get noticed. In fact, my struggle was I was putting in a lot of effort to make sure people don't notice me. Okay? Because I was so introverted back then. And guess what? What am I doing now? I'm helping companies and individuals get noticed and get them into the media. And then I'm standing here in front of all of you people talking. So that theme, your mind will say, hide that theme. It's a struggle. People shouldn't know. But if you use that struggle, create a story out of it, you'll never know who you're going to change. You might inspire someone and change their life. Yeah? Sure, some of us may find it too difficult to tap into the struggle because it's too painful and it's too personal. But I just want you to know this, that at the least, you must first become aware of your stories, and second, you must recognize it. Because when you do these two things, something magical happens. You will start to see stories in other people, in situations, and even in things. So that the next time your boss asks you to present something as boring as rocks, you can make it look like diamonds. Okay? There will be some people who after today, after listening to me, they still cannot bring themselves to tell stories. For those people, I want you to remember this image. Now, once upon a time, 40,000 years ago, cavemen went out of their way to make pigments. Then they used their fingers and they used their mouth to paint these pictures on the wall of their homes because they had a burning desire to tell their stories. Now, 40,000 years, if that is not forever, I don't know what is. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, what I want to say is this. A diamond may not last forever, but your story can. So, make your story, make your brand. Thank you.